will just tell you, I was the one that tweeted you the other day about Mark Burnett and,
yeah.
the Christian music. So now I would
right.
love to talk to you a little bit about
Absolutely.
that. Like, is this something that like you guys had a serious conversation and like you're considering?
No, it was something that he had mentioned, and I in our little tweet back and forth, I had forgotten that we had that conversation. But yeah, it's something that he had said. You know, he just felt that it was something. Hey, you know, we might be, you know, consider going into that. And I mean, I thought that was you know a great suggestion, because I mean I love all kinds of music, and Christian music is you know, being a Christian, I think, you know, I mean it's amazing. Some great Christian music out there, some great Christian artists. But you know, I feel comfortable with what I'm doing right now. I think kind of what I'm doing is almost, you know, Christian in a sense, because I don't swear in my music.
Right.
You know, my themes usually have a pretty family oriented feel. You know, I'm not talking about, you know, going to the clubs, though. I mean, I did at one point, you know, talk about some of that stuff in my previous records, but that's not kind of where I'm at right now, and I think everybody that knows me knows that. So I mean, I think I'm about as close as I can get without being officially, you know what I mean? But
and
I think,
is it more just about putting out the music that, you know, it's in your heart rather than putting a label on it?
Exactly right. I mean, you can call it, you know, what you like, you know, but you know, my music, I just want to try to make good music. I want to make good music that will move people, you know, not necessarily physically, but, you know, emotionally, you know, and that's kind of what I feel, you know, my job as a songwriter is, you know. I mean, I'm a musician and I'm a songwriter. I love to tell stories, and I love to just try to take people on a journey, you know what I mean?
And I mean, you were doing this before The Voice. You had albums out before The Voice. But how much has it really changed, either what you're writing about since The Voice, or the response to it and the just sheer madness that surrounds your music now?
Right. I mean, I've always been myself, but I wasn't always allowed to be myself, if that makes sense. So, you know, my first album, I felt like I was able to be myself, but it wasn't promoted the way I felt it should have been. And then my second album was I wasn't myself because I wasn't allowed to be myself. But then with my third album that I just released, that I recorded in my basement, just a little acoustic EP called The Truth that I released. That was about as me as you get. It was just me and a guitar, just spilling my heart. And now with this album, I feel like I'm being myself again. You know, I've continued the trend. You know, there's a little bit of rock, and there's a little bit of soul, there's a little bit of country, there's a little bit of everything in this new album that I really feel, you know, they all tie into who I am. You know, this new single, "A Drop in the Ocean," that I'm, you know, that I sang tonight on the show. It's just it's a great song. It's got a lot of New England references. You know, being that I'm from New England. It was written by a guy named Ron Pope. I wish I could say I wrote this song, but I didn't. But Ron is amazing. He's an amazing artist, and to be able to perform, you know, his song and to have it as one of my singles, I'm honored.
And Adam was so in your corner last year. I mean, he really pushed you through all the way, and now you're going on tour with him. So has this been a year-long conversation back and forth with him about what can we do next? Or is this kind of a surprise? How did this come about?
Absolutely. I mean, he's been in my corner the entire time. You know, we've had lots and lots of great conversations about everything from, you know, the recording process to dealing with the media to you know, making the record that I want to make. He's been there, you know, the entire time. So I've been able to text him or to call him and say, man, what do you think about this? Or, you know, I think this is bull. You know. So he's been there and he's seen it all. So he's been a great coach throughout.
And what is your advice for either the winner of season 2 or the finalists in general for how to handle the changes that are about to come to their lives?
Just to get ready, you know, get ready for a roller coaster, and just to make sure that you know, they got their heads strapped on, because they're going to be pulled every different direction, and just, you know, to stay engaged in all the facets of it, because it's a business, you know. You gotta deal with it as such.
All right.
You know.
Awesome. It was great to see you
Good to
again.
see you.